Happy Tuesday again. Thank you for joining me on All Things Possible. You guys who stuck around to listen to this next live, it is going to be amazing. I have the author, the Dr. Clayton Russell, that's coming on, and this is the book, his new book, Love and Healing, a guide to emotional wellness. So I have Dr. Clayton on my page for many years now. I've been following. I remember actually, I'm going to share, there was a period about 3 years ago, and I talk about it pretty often. I went through a really hard time, and I had put a post out needing help on Facebook. Um, and Dr. Clayton, I was posting. I usually post uplifting stuff, and I went into a really bad space. And I posted something in a group that where I met Dr. Clayton on. It was called Abraham Hicks at the time. It's a new name now, and he reached out to me and asked, "Am I okay?" And that was such a important moment for me because he didn't know me. I knew he was a doctor. I knew that he is, um, I want to say, well known in the community. And for him to take time out to notice from the way I was posting that something was going on with me, it really touched my heart. And I started following his posts. He also posts a lot of inspiring, inspirational, and not only positive, but core changing reminders for us. And recently he is promoting his book and sent me two of his books, and I gifted one on a live. I did a not a contest, but if you did whatever, and someone won it, and we've been reading it together. And so Dr. Clayton is coming on to share with us. I see that you're here. I'm gonna get ready to bring you on. Let me bring my handy dandy drum roll ready. All right, Dr. Clayton, I'm getting ready to bring you on. You guys help me welcome Dr. Russell Clayton. Yay!
Yay! I'm here.
You're here finally. We made it happen.
Yes, we did. How are you?
I am blessed. I'm so glad for you to come on. This has been a dream. I told everybody there's 4 people on my list. If I get them on the show, I know I'm heading in the right direction, and you are one of them. So I'm so blessed and honored for you to come on tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I would like you to go ahead and introduce yourself first, and then we'll take it from there.
Hello, my name is Dr. Russell. I am author, poet, gynecologist, surgeon, and human being and lover of mankind. Hello
Yes.
to everyone here and to everyone tuning in.
Yes, that you are so much. I love every one of your posts. Before you even said that you had a book coming out, your post usually is, like I said, it's usually posts at core changing beliefs, right? That you've been putting out there. And now that you have the book and I've been reading the book, it has been just confirming just all the knowledge that's out there now for us. And I appreciate that so much too. There's things that I've forgotten that I'm being reminded of a way to heal myself too. So I really love the book. But this is not your first book, right? This is your third book.
This is actually my second book. My first book was The Greater You, The Journey of Awakening.
Okay.
And in that first book, I really followed my own spiritual journey to awakening to my true self. And I kind of put some markings around that road that we come to awakening. And
Yes.
hopefully it's been helpful to people.
Yes. Okay. So again, too, I was just talking with my other guest, Barbara. A lot of times it's through our experience, right, that we've gone through. And in learning and mastering a certain way now, we are here to help guide other people where we felt lost. And so that, I believe, that's what you're doing, is helping other people. How did this book come about for you, for the Love and Healing?
This book came really about from my office practice as a gynecologist. I was seeing patients and I was doing the work of a physician and diagnosing illness, and actually as a surgeon removing tumors and doing surgery and doing a lot of good for people. But I
Yeah.
began to feel like I was leaving a lot on the table with each encounter that I had, and I have about 30 to 40 encounters a day with different patients. I
Okay.
felt like I wasn't addressing the emotional self. And
Mm-hmm.
it began to bother me, actually. And I would always try to sneak in that last 5 minutes or the first 5 minutes of actually trying to discover in what framework emotionally did the patient arrive in. So I would always ask, how are you feeling? That was always my first question.
Yes.
And my appointments began to run over. My schedules became waterlogged. My nurses would beg me, Dr. Clayton, please don't ask people how they feel. Just take the tumor out and book the surgery. And I was like, okay, I can actually do that, but how do I address this care gap? What was going on in my office was going on against in all physicians' offices around the world. There's
Yeah.
very little time. The medical system, the medical centers are booked. You can't get an appointment in the same day, and when you do, it's short and the doctor's in a hurry. So I said, how can I touch people what they have in their spirit? And I realized that I couldn't do it within the office framework. So I decided to write this book. This book is dedicated to anyone who is suffering from their emotions, anyone who's suffering, who's lost a job, who's lost a relationship, who's lost money, who lost their home, anything.
Yes.
uh, Anything that brings us shame, guilt, blame, denial. And this book is dedicated to everyone experiencing that emotional suffering.
Well, I love that you are a physician that knows that it's not just medicine and chemical form that heals, but there's usually a core reason why there's a disease there. And I had a dentist, also an awakening dentist. And so to find that more physicians and people who are in the medical field going to the core of what is causing the problem, I feel that's a deeper healing than just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just as people evolve, I think medicine evolves, and holistic medicine is coming into view for more people
Yeah.
because of the lack of mental health services or the backlog in mental health services, and the lack of outreach programs. I think there's a serious calling for people to activate their own healing. And
Yeah.
so largely I'm focused on this activation of self-healing where you activate the healer in you. We're all healers, but we just don't have the tools to do so.
Yeah.
So in my book, Love and Healing, what I do is I put together 70 self-care exercises to bring you into alignment with your mind, body, heart, and spirit. And this alignment brings you into the present moment where all healing takes place. So
Yeah.
Love and Healing is my prescription for humanity.
I love that. I think that is obviously what we need right now too. One of the things in there I wanted to say, this morning I was looking for a message to give to my sister. And like I said, today has been one of those days where it felt like 500 things were happening at one time and I needed a second to calm down. I actually heard your interview with Patricia, and she said something and I was like, oh my God, I do that too. Sometimes when I'm looking for direction, I used to go into the library and just ask my spirit, guide me to a book. And I would open up the book, and whatever the book wherever it opened up, I would get a message. And so that happened to me this morning, and I shared a message. It's just a paragraph, really small. I wanted to share with everybody from the book that helped me remember this morning when I was having a moment. And it is on page 175, and I believe it was exercise 37. It is where you said how to deal with personal failure, learn to fail your own way into success. One of the things that I love that reading this book for me is that, like you're saying, you're giving the tools for healing too. You're reminding people that they have the power to heal themselves, and it's not outside of us. Okay, so I'm going to read just a little piece
Okay,
of the a paragraph from the
thank
book.
you.
It says, there's always emotional and physical pain ahead when you continue to stand in resistance to your hidden truth. This is why it's important to live from your center. Unfortunately, despite our best effort, failure will happen. Don't fear failing. It's not you. It happens to everybody. The silver lining to failure is that it creates an opportunity for new growth and expansion. Don't despair and never stop trying. Use your last failure as motivation to move forward and steer clear of sadness and self-pity. So important. Believe that it's literally possible to fail your way into success. Losers quit when they fail, winners fail until they succeed. Oh my goodness. I
Amen.
love that. I
Oh,
love
thank
that.
you.
Yes,
Thank
because
you.
go ahead.
I just, I couldn't, I couldn't agree with you more that that's really critical right now. Right
Yeah.
now I have people in my personal life that are suffering from their failures, and they're suffering to the degree that it's like a spiral that
Yes.
keeps going down.
Yes.
And unless you are grounded in the faith of a higher power than yourself, when the mind fails, so will you. And so I urge people in these stressful times, and we've never had a more stressful time than right now
Yeah.
in life, with the
Yeah.
pandemic going on, as well as life stressors. A
Just
bad
everywhere.
economy is a
Mhm.
recipe for disaster. So unless we start to ground ourselves where we are in a higher power and giving some of this stress away to relieve some of the stress that's on our backs, then our backs will not break. But if
Yes.
we fail to do that, we're not made to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's
Yeah.
going to result in some type of mental condition or some type of condition or stress impacts on our body, like hypertension, heart attack, stroke. These are very serious consequences of trying to shoulder all of life onto yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that now is the time for healing. This is the age of healing. And I'm fortunate enough to produce a book in these times that I've been writing for the last 5 years that just seems so relevant right now.
I love that, because then that means your spirit was preparing you for this message, knowing what was coming. And
Yes, yes, I
right?
believe that. I received that, and I
Yeah.
claim that I was chosen to deliver this
Yeah.
message. And I welcome all those healers who feel comfortable to share. But I ask one thing of all healers before they share, and that's heal thyself. Make sure that you are going through the process. Make sure that your spiritual practice is intact. Make sure that you have the foundation and tools in order to lead people by example.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things I want to point out too, that I just read in there too, that I find that so important in the work that I do daily too. I come across a lot of people, because I work in the health field too, but help people with their insurance. And so I come across a lot of people who tell their stories over and over and almost get caught in this self-pity, like you said. And sometimes I want to tell them, like, stop repeating the same thing over and over, but you can't, and not everybody's able to receive that. But that was such an important thing for me at the moment that I was going through too. That's why I said I feel like your spirit knew all those who find your book are supposed to find your book, and the message is supposed to hit right now, because I was in a moment where I was in the, like, oh my goodness, why is this happening to me? And I caught myself and realized that there can be a spiral, and I can continue this throughout the day unless I stop and ground myself. And just what you said, give it to a higher power that can see more than I can see, has the bird eye view of what's happening with me, and to trust in that. All these years, anytime anything bad has happened, it always works out later on when I look back and says, wow, that was God, that was source, that was something bigger than me that took place right there. So that was a beautiful reminder for people who feel stuck and in a pity and why me, mentality, to let go and to ground themselves into something bigger than them. I know that you do meditation, and I know that you do yoga. As a matter of fact, I think when you're in Hawaii, one of the things that I love about you, Dr. Russell, is that the way you communicate with people, it is such from a heart space. I can see even with your family, the way they are with each other when you share your pictures and share your videos. You guys have such love amongst yourself. And so I see your kids and everybody, they had a part in the book too, I'm sure, right? Your
They had a
children.
big part. My children are really my number one focus. I write for them. And I say
Mm,
that because in my life, my father was a man of few words.
Okay.
And I grew up in a time where we didn't have iPhones to capture every moment. We didn't have iVideo. And so videos were on tapes, and many of
Yeah.
the memories that I have of my father were truly lost and buried by time. And I wanted to fix that for the next generation coming up. I wanted to make sure that my children were aware of what their father had been through. I wanted to make sure that they knew what was in my heart. I wanted to give them the benefit of what I'd learned, what I experienced, and what I grew from. And so I write for my children. But as it turns out, when I started writing for my children, adults liked it too.
Oh,
So I
world.
began to share it on Facebook. But I want to go
Yeah.
back to what you said earlier, because you mentioned something very key. You mentioned people talking about themselves in conversations. And
Yeah.
this is a 4-alarm fire. When you are so wrapped up in the story of you, then you're grounded in this conditional reality, this form reality that we all live in. And you can't get to a spiritual place. So when you notice someone just swinging the conversation towards themselves and telling the same stories repeatedly to you, or a different version of the stories, without interacting with the listener, then it points to someone who is a definite person in this reality. But what I'm looking to do is to awaken people and turn these people into spiritual beings. And in spiritual beings, being a spiritual being, you're no longer concerned about the story of me, because that's all ego-based. And
Yeah.
we believe whatever we receive, whatever the thoughts that come into your mind, as you tell the story repeatedly about your trauma without digging deeper, you become that trauma. And so
Yes.
not only do you stay in that traumatic state, but you also infect the people around you with the same fear-based thinking. So the idea is to
Yes.
move off of yourself, off of your reality, off of your thoughts, and into the heart, where there's nothing but empathy and compassion and listening and love. And
Yes.
from that place is where you can grow beyond this wretched earth and reach the outer dimensions that we can only dream about.
Yes. I remember for me, for 2 years, almost 2 years, every morning as I woke up, I would hear, this is not forever. You're not going to be in this body forever. Like every morning there was a reminder that this is temporary. Don't get attached to everything that's around you. And it's always shifting. That helped me a lot right now when I'm in a space where I feel like, oh my goodness, is it ever going to change? Why? Whenever I get into that vibration, that mode, I remember that happening to me every day helped me remember that there's something bigger than me that I am connected to, that we're all connected to. This is temporary, whether it be in happiness or in sadness. It's all for a moment. So don't get so wrapped up into what's happening right here. That was very powerful for me too, and still is to this day, because I know that there's something bigger than me, and I'm connected to that, like I said, and so are you, and so is everybody else. So rent won't always be a factor. Financial relationships, even health won't always be a factor that you're going to have to be trying to figure out. This is just temporary. So enjoy the moments while you can. And
Yeah.
that has been very helpful for me.
Yes. It's a mistake to view life as happening to you. Many
Yes.
people get involved of what happened to them
Yes.
instead of what life is doing for you.
For you.
The
That was
truth
my
is,
message today. That
amen,
was my message
amen.
today.
Synchronicity is always there with me and you,
Oh
Prudence.
my, yes.
And I do must say that I really follow your page. One of the reasons I follow you, Prudence, is your spiritual based thoughts that you share, and the culture that you attempting to create is just so palpable and so real.
Thank
And
you.
my only question is, how do you find the time to post so much?
You know
I
what?
post
It's
once
become
a day, but I
it's
read your
become a
posts all the
habit.
time. It's
It's become
incredible.
such a habit. So for 2 years, I was just working at home, or I did like live-in nanny kind of jobs. And so I had the time all the time. Now that I'm doing the 9 to 5, it's such a program. So like I wake up, I go walk, I meditate, I sit down and drink my coffee. When I'm drinking my coffee, I post. It's such a habit to me. It's a vibe shifter for me as well. So I can feel really bad and say, okay, Source, show me something. And I go on the internet and all these posts come to me. And I say, I'm putting it here for me for later, for when, if, if I'm in a high vibration and I'm sharing something, I know there's going to come a time where it goes down, because that's life, right? It's this up and down, and you have to learn how to balance the positive and the negative. So when I'm down, I leave the positive stuff there so that I can go back and remind myself. What started happening was other people was reaching out to me and saying, oh my goodness, your post is helping me so much. I was not putting it for other people, but I was glad that other people were getting from it. But what it really helped me realize was that we were all connected, because I had a different story why I was feeling frustrated, and they had a different story why they were feeling frustrated, but the frustration was the same. It was the same vibration, and I realized, wow, we're all connected. Different storylines, but we're all connected because they needed the same message I needed. And I realized, and my spirit just kept on giving me more and more and more. So, but that's so funny. You said, how do I find the time? It's a habit for me now.
And, from my own standpoint, I tend to post um, from the present moment. Whatever is
Yeah,
coming, whatever download is coming to me, whatever point I am in my own personal spiritual journey is where I write from.
yeah,
And when I post my post, people go, well, oh my God, I'm going through the same exact thing. How did you
yeah.
know that this is what I'm going through? And that's the curiosity for me. The synchronicity of the message that's coming through us all is from a divine place. And
It's
we
so
all we
amazing.
have to do is to tune into the same frequency. And
Yes,
so through groups, like All Things Possible, I think it connects us all so that we can go through this road together. We are here in the same
yes,
lifetime to go through the same trials and tribulations as each other. And we're here to teach, we're here to learn, and we're here to love, we're here to share with each
yes,
other so that our experience can be a more worthwhile experience. And so
absolutely.
I really think that the synchronicity and creativity from the present moment is very powerful. If anyone's out there who's working for writing a book, never write when you're suffering from your depression. You can be in
Yeah,
touch with that on a personal level, but the highest level of creativity is formed when you're in a high frequency state, a state of happiness, a state of joy. Try
yeah.
sharing your message during those times. It'll always be the right one because it's arriving when? In divine time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And then just letting spirit lead you to, like you said, then you start finding the synchronicities with other people out there too. I heard something this morning that was so profound to me. Kind of goes a little bit with what we're saying right now too. So we know that we have past lives and present, and then we have future, and we have where we're learning time is linear now, and not even, it's more mental. And I heard someone this morning on one of the conversations I was listening to on YouTube was saying that, we're also becoming aware that we're living simultaneously many different lives, right? At one time. I know not everybody's right there on the same page, but I believe that you are, so I can have this conversation. And was saying that when you attune yourself and line yourself up with the other lifetimes that are being lived by you, if you are on a high frequency, you will match that with all the other vibrations, well, past, present, future. And so the work really is to line yourself up in I don't want to say positivity, I want to say more spiritual, to align yourself with source. And that raises your frequency so that you can match the frequency of that, because it's really, like you said, tuning in like a radio. And so if you catch yourself, your dial tone has gone to a different station that you don't like, it's just about taking time and tuning it into a frequency that you do want to experience. Can you give a tip of how to do that? I know meditation is one of our favorite ones. Can you give a tip of how do you do that for yourself?
Well, we can do it right now, Prudence.
Let's do it.
Let's tune in.
Let's do it.
Okay, the easiest way to tune into your higher self into your inner core is to take conscious breaths. And right now, if anyone is watching, can do it with us. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, inhale, exhale through the mouth. Inhale and exhale through the mouth. Inhale and exhale through the mouth.
Oh.
Now for me,
I feel it all
that
here,
is
all here.
everything.
Ooh.
Because what it does is it takes us out of our body. Breath is the energy, it is the bridge to our soul.
Oh.
So when you take conscious breaths, you're actually connecting to your soul. If you're truly doing it in the present moment, distracted by nothing else, doing nothing else, for the intention, and I'll stress that, for the intention of awakening your spirit, it can be done. And what I would say, my personal habit is to do that in my shower in the morning. Every day I wake up, I say, good morning, Holy Spirit. And I do that 3 times, and then I start shouting my affirmations. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for this day. I'm here to do special things. I ask that every person, every event, every scenario that I enter, that I take my higher self into that meeting.
Yes.
And I claim it as mine.
Yeah.
And so as I work through my day, as I see patients, as I lay hands on people, it's not Dr. Russell the person. It's Dr. Russell, the entire spirit.
Ooh.
And that's how powerful change happens. That's how we shift energy fields. That's how we change people. We don't change people from a low vibration. We change people from the highest vibration.
Yes.
And the highest vibration ever known is source.
Yes.
So aligning with source and doing it early and doing it often is everything. And I also like what you said, is taking a moment to ground yourself. If you find yourself failing, if you find yourself struggling, don't ignore it. Don't bury it with alcohol, with drugs, with doing other addictive behaviors. What we have to do is we have to come into alignment with source energy. Mm-hmm. There's several different ways of doing that. So many, we know we can do it through play. We can do it through exciting joy, experiencing happiness. We can do it through music. We can do it through art. We can do it through creating. We can do it through writing. We can do it through lovemaking. We can do it through sex. We can do it through everything possible to escape this prison of this spacesuit that we're all wearing and go into that spiritual dimension where we can reach infinity. And when we can do that, that's how we reach our dreams. Yeah. Our dreams become closer.
I love that. I love that. Do your kids meditate with you too?
You better believe it.
I know they.
when my 4 children are running around and chaos abounds, it's time to bring it in. The first thing I say is, who's grateful? Because gratitude is very important. So gratitude stops everything. Gratitude lifts your energy level. It shifts your frequency and attracts abundance into your life and brings you instantaneously into the present moment to call upon what you're grateful for, what you're most thankful for. And that brings you into a not only alignment, but it brings you into a changeful state so that you can intentionally change what you're desiring to change. Very difficult to change a state from a lower vibration. Yes. So we do so from a higher vibration, and gratitude affords us that opportunity to do so.
What a great way to bring a shifter too, because like as soon as you start, you think. My mom used to do this thing with us when we were younger. She used to say, if a genie appeared at you right now, or she would say, if God or angel came right now and asked you 3 things, what do you want? What are you gonna say? And we used to be like, and she said, you always need to be prepared. Always need to be prepared to know, what is it? If a genie or God granted you a wish right now, always know what it is you want out of life. Always be grateful for where you are. And she taught us that too when we were younger. So that what you're teaching your kids, I know that's a really great tool for them to use throughout their life to shift their attention on no matter what's happening, go into a gratitude space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
in the morning.
And to be honest, they all don't raise their hand. Let's say who's
Yeah.
grateful, one or two, or the one with the most dominant feeling, the one with the most clear intention. And that's also important. Let the ones with the clear intention speak, and others will follow.
Oh man, I love that you're bringing up leaders as well. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to share? I know if you can leave the link, I will put the link to Amazon to your book in the comments. Is there anything else that you want to share from that you've learned so far and just promoting your book and writing the book and meeting with people now? That what is one of the most profound experience that's standing out to you that you're realizing by spreading this message?
Listen, we can talk about spirituality all day, but
Me too.
since you asked me about writing, what I want to share with the aspiring writers out there is one thing. Write. Write often, make it a spiritual practice. If you're truly passionate about changing someone's life, if you're truly passionate about writing a book and becoming an expert at it, do it every day. So
Yeah.
it's what I do every day. I do it late at night. I'm a vampire, so from 10 p.m. to midnight, I write. But even in simpler form, I offer some others who may not want to be a writer or write a book. Create something from your passion every single day. Whatever it is that you're passionate about. If you love painting, paint. If you love playing the guitar, play the guitar. If you love writing, write. But do it every single day. Keep a journal. I do keep a journal. My writing is basically my life, where I keep going to inspire myself and to inspire people. But when you write something down, you bring it into your consciousness. And from your consciousness, not your subconsciousness, is where you can act on it. Most people cannot access their subconscious willingly. There are methods to do that. But by bringing a writing, that's the most purest form of your soul delivered right in front of you to face. And from that place, it's blessed because it's yours. It's blessed because it's true. You're actually writing your truth. So if I could inspire anyone to start doing their passion, just wait in 3 or 4 years. Don't look in the short term. Make a long-term goal in what you're going to do with your passion, and you will change the world.
Yes, I love that. You are changing the world.
You are
right
changing
now.
the world every single day at this moment. Reach out and do something. But I will show the book since you asked, and this is Love and Healing. It's red because that's what love is. And I see you, Prudence, with your book. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful picture with me. And you can get my book on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. And just a special announcement for your show only, Prudence. I'll be appearing as the keynote speaker in Awakening into the Sun Festival, which is in St. Petersburg, Florida, in front of thousands of people.
I'm coming to see you.
Come see me for Love and Healing Live, the event. And that's all I could ask for. You know, in this lifetime, dreams do come true, and I'm living my dream. I'm a living example. If anyone needs any inspiration, I hope that we've delivered that today.
I hope so too. That is my intention and my prayer too. I love you so much. I love your
family. I love
you
too, Prudence.
I really wanted just really quick to remind you and thank you. It was years ago. I don't know if you heard at the beginning. I was having a really hard time, and I found it was so touching to me that you noticed by my post. I didn't say anything yet. You noticed by my post that something was wrong. Out of all the 100,000 people that was on the Abraham group, you reached out to me in a personal message and says, "Are you okay? I noticed that your post." That you don't understand what that did for me. I really love and appreciate you so very much. I thank you so much for coming on tonight. I've told so many people.
My pleasure.
Clayton's coming on.
I was looking forward to this just as much as you. It's such a pleasure to see you and meet you and be with you. And like always, we are one.
Please share the link to your meeting that's coming in St. Petersburg. I really am like an hour away. I would so love to meet you in person as well.
It would be amazing.
Okay. All right. Thank you again. You have a blessed night, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
Namaste.
All right. Talk to you soon. Namaste. You guys, vibration is through the roof. I am so grateful for all of you, for this experience, for you guys joining me on my group, for you guys who are going to watch later, whoever you share it out to. I appreciate you. I feel your energy. I hope you feel ours. The message here is to heal and love. Love is the healing power. And so tapping in and grounding yourself to something higher than you, and let that teach you, let that heal you. Heal from your core. Because when you heal, you help other people around you heal. We're helping the collective heal. We are spiritual superheroes, holding each other's hand, reminding each other of who we are, rising up, and standing in our power. I love you guys so much. I'll be back again tomorrow with more beautiful guests. Have a blessed night.